Hello everyone, welcome to another video. This is game 6 from my 60 memorable games by Bobby Fischer, and this game was played in 1959 and it was played against Ruben Sharkan. So let's start with the game. Game started with e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, and here comes bishop b5, and which is Ruy Lopez. Now a6 and asking this bishop, and bishop goes back at bishop a4, knight f6. Now white does short castling. Simply black can't take because too much pressure will come after bringing this rook. So black simply went for developing this bishop and preparing the castling. Now rook e1, simply protecting that pawn. b5, asking question to the bishop. Now bishop goes back at bishop b3, and now black does short castling. c3 with the preparation to push this one and some central expansion, and now black replies with d6. Now this d4 is possible, and we will see that d4 is the main idea in game 36, but here Fischer played something profile access move. Like if d6 comes, maybe this bishop will come at some point. We will try to pin this knight. To protect that, Fischer first played h3, not allowing this bishop to come, and then preparing for going for that. Now knight comes at a5, and of course attacking this bishop. This bishop is good bishop for white, and white is not ready to give up this bishop for this knight, so simply just bringing this back and now going for c5. And as per the idea, anyhow white went for central expansion, d4, and queen c7 with the idea that at some point he can bring his rook here so that this some x-ray attack can come to this queen. And with that, now knight comes. Now black idea is pretty simple. He will go with developing this bishop here. We will go bring this rook here. Maybe he will bring back this knight, This is the main idea, and he can take that well. Now here he simply goes for bishop d7 and knight f1. Now you just see this knight is not doing much for white. It's not controlling many things, so he felt that this is the permanent hole is going to occur here. So knight is not eyeing towards much here, so it's better to, if this knight can be rerotated here and can be eyed towards this square, this will be great. And at some point, if this knight can be exchanged for this knight, and then this will be the permanent place for this knight. So just for that, he just went for knight f1. Now rook comes, and here knight comes at e3. g6, the idea of being g6 is some breathing square of the king. On the other side, this bishop is not doing good here for the black perspective, so black is preparing to go back with the bishop here, maybe here or somehow to develop this bishop with that route. Now d takes e5 and d takes e5. Now you can see such a huge hole here, so if white can exchange this knight for this knight, then this knight can ready to jump here. So now h2 with the idea that at some point we'll go here and we'll exchange this knight and then place this knight here. Now bring this rook a d8 with the idea now black is threatening to push this one, even taking, and with the discovered check to this queen. So of course queen has to move. So queen goes here, and now he played the bishop e6. Now simply controlling this square because this knight is going to come here. So white went for similar plan, knight at knight g4, and knight takes, pawn takes, and now queen comes as c6. Now here Fischer played very interesting move. Guys, could you pause the video here and could you guess what Fischer played here? g5 with the idea that now this knight is eyeing towards this square, and black is simply can't take this pawn. Now let's just see what happens if black takes the pawn. Once black takes this pawn, now this knight hops into d5, bishop takes, and this check is coming fast. So if of course this move is not possible, if comes picking this on with a check, so he has to go back and then picking this bishop. So that's great for white, so of course that's not possible. On the other hand, bishop goes here, then knight takes bishop, rook takes, and then bishop comes here and pinning this and winning the exchange, and that's simply great for white. So of course that's not a possibility, so here he didn't take, rather he went for this knight. So knight rerouting the knight and asking this knight to pick this one so that this bishop will come to the better place. Of course Fischer didn't accept that, so Fischer rerouting the knight, and something like that is now threatening to go. Now bishop takes knight, and then queen takes g4, and now knight b6. Now you can see that idea is like once white is threatening to go with this push, on the other hand black is threatening to bring this knight and going for this protection of this pawn, because the reason being, once white ready to play g3 with the idea to leave the king at g2 and bringing this rook and activating this rook over this open file and will get a huge attack to this king. So black will try to bring his knight here and try to protect that square with that idea. Now of course with the similar kind of trade g3, and now here it comes c4 with the idea. Now he not immediately not going for this move because white still has to lift and he has to bring this rook here. So he just went for some profile access move here, because if he simply doesn't go there, either if could have planned here. Now this push is coming and this threat is so strong for, like, after this push, like, he simply can't take because it takes and this is huge threat, so he can't take. Once he moves again, pushing this one and preparing this bishop for going here. So he just fixed everything, just moving the c4. Now this move is not possible because knight can take, so this move is not possible, just fixing that. Now as per plan, lifting the king, and now knight d7, rook h1, knight f8, simply protecting that. Now you can see that black king side is well protected, this pawn is well protected by the knight, so easily it's not possible to penetrate. So Fischer felt that now it's time to attack on the other side of the board. So to do that, b4, not playing anything like b3 would have been made some interesting move. Like if b3 would have happened, then this is very threatening. So he can now, what could have done, like c takes b4 and then c3, a3, knight e6, and knight is eyeing towards this square. This is so strong for the knight, and even eyeing towards this pawn. Soon this push is coming, so there will be many complex positions. So just to avoid that, simply directly playing d4, not allowing this push. Here it comes rerouting the queen, of course offering the trade. White queen is better, so white is not accepting the queen. Queen e2, a5, and b takes a5, queen a6, bishop e3, queen takes f5, a4, with the idea to open up the another file for the rook, and rook a8, and now a takes b5, queen takes b5. Now another rook comes into the game. This rook is not doing much, so this rook will come into the game now, attacking the queen. Of course queen goes at c6, and here Fischer played a good move. Guys, could you guess what Fischer played from this position? Very interesting. A wonderful he played. Rook at b6 and asking this queen where it will go. So queen c7, now bringing the rook at a file and asking to take and complete control of the a file. So he took, and rook takes a6, now rook c8, now activating the queen at more stronger place, and knight e6, and now this is one possibility, and this engine was showing like equal, but he didn't go for that. So now this bishop is like, so far if you see from this position, all the pieces are doing great. This bishop is doing great with the idea of this rook is doing great. Only the piece, this bishop, is not doing much, so he has to develop this one, and this is the best place for the bishop, so he just went for that. Bishop a4, rook b8, and now with the idea to attack to the queen. Now he played queen d8. Now guys, pause the game here and try to find out what Fischer played from that position. And this move was brilliant, and for this move Fischer simply won this game. Just pause the video here and find out what Fischer played. Hopefully you got the move. Rook take a6, and now here he simply can't take with this pawn. The reason being, we can see what happened. Pawn takes rook, queen takes pawn with a check. Now where this king will go? If king goes here, the check is coming, and simply if it goes here, this is such a huge threat, and he simply can't get rid of that one. This bishop is eyeing towards this square, so this is simply like killer blow, so he simply can't protect from there. Thought, if I can take this one immediately, but I can pin this one by bringing my queen here, because this is pinned, this queen doesn't have any protection, so he went for that. Now can you guess from here what Fischer played? This was wonderful move, guys. This will blow your mind. This move is simply awesome. The move is bishop d7. The idea is now asking him where it will go. Now if it moves somewhere here, he simply can't get rid of this, unpin this rook, and he simply win the game. If not, if he takes, so of course he did, he took the bishop, and once bishop takes, rook takes with a check, and winning the one resigned. So hopefully you love the game, and you will learn something in that process. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more chess. Bye bye.